Okay, so last video that I showed you how to remove some stuff of the laughing lines and all this, and if you press on the Alt key and click on the last one of the activated, you see the before and the after. Obviously, like it changes the person, some part of it. Anyways, you can like it. So therefore, this is a professional photography, and obviously, like the eyes are pretty white as they are right now. I think it's really well done. Will you go back to her later on to do the skin and maybe the lipstick and see that on? But here's another portrait that I found is that this was a portrait from Tom Preston, and here's a typical photo that I would say like you get. It's a really nice photo, really good emotion, I would say. But you can see like the eyes and the teeth are not really white. So there's other stuff that I would do, but it's like right now, I think I'm just gonna concentrate into this. So once again, I'll say Control J to actual Command J onto making a layer, hide the background. And in this case, you'll see there's multiple ways to do that. There's different ways. Um, there's some more precision, and it depends on. For me, it depends where am I gonna put the photo. So what I mean by that is that if it's gonna reside onto the internet, I don't need to do so much edits. Like there's so much stuff you can get away from it. Because if you're gonna print this, well then there's more intense edits that you need to do, and there's more stuff that you need to do in order to make it print. Because in the printing, it will show all the details, and you have to make it look realistically. Into the digital world, sometimes you can get away with a lot of stuff. Okay, so in this one, I'll show you a really quick way to do it. So I'll copy again that layer, and this one I'll go in here and just put it to screen. So you go to the mode and put it to screen. You see like this is really bright. Okay, and then after I'm done that, you can press on Alt, or you can actually just like I'll show you two ways. You can actually press on the Alt, and while you're holding on to Alt, click on the mask, and it's going to make a black layer or black mask we can call. The black, very simple. If it's black, it hides the effect of the mode screen. So if I just hide this, press on the shift, click on it, this is what it's hiding right now. But if I would be white, it would reveal. So just to go back, okay, and I'll show you a different way to do that because most people don't like to have hotkeys or some don't. So in this way over here, you can actually just say, I want a mask. So you see this is still white, so therefore it reveals the effect. You can just switch the actual color of the foreground over here, which make it black. And you can actually use the paint bucket tool if you want to. And just click into the actual mask and just put it black. So that's the same way. Or you can press on the Alt backspace or Control backspace. Now what I'm going to do is that, as you saw, white reveals. So I'm going to take his teeth first, and I'm going to go into the brush tool, use the brush tool, make sure that the foreground is really white, and I'm just going to use like, well, yeah, I'll make it really quick, as I said, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller brush, but then I'm going to just go in and just paint, and then don't worry so much about painting over the other area, because if you paint with black, it will hide. So even though if I go like this, I'll show you in a few minutes over here. So I'm just going to go in and just going to paint over his teeth, and there you go. I don't care if I would go overboard or if I go to the other place, and I think this should be fairly good enough. Okay, and yeah, so now I got this done. Let me see if I go to the actual Alt. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I press on the Alt in the backspace, and then after that, if you have this over here, if you change the color to black, here's what happens. You just hide or just mask that over what you have done. So I would go in and I would actually just zoom in then and just, I think I found it easier. That's what I found. It's just like going to here and just go over all the places you don't, not too sure. Okay, so that's what you have. So let's have a look now. If you look at over here, like it looks really white. And then there's other stuff you can do. So therefore, like this is way too bright. I will tell you 9 times out of 10, it's always going to be too bright. Usually what I find is if I go back to 0 and then you come back in and you say like around 50, it's kind of the magic number that I start, like 50. So I go back and forth. So I say hide and reveal. It's like, yeah, that's not too bad. You can probably like, that's maybe too much to compare to the actual face. So maybe you want to go in and just reduce it to 40%. And then that's a little bit better, depending on what you like. So in the same place, if you want to, you can actually do the eyes. It's up to you, or you can do a different layer. I'm going to try to actually just use the same layer, zoom in onto the eyes, and do the same process again. Use the brush tool and use the white, the actual white, and I'm just going to go in here and the same thing over again. It's like I don't care too much about like if I go in and spill. In this case, it's just like, okay, it doesn't really show me too much. So I'm going to go back and just put it at 100%. And I'm going to go in and paint over the eyes. Try that as much as I can. Maybe over here a little bit. Not too much. And go in here. And be careful like onto the, like usually the outside of the eyes are darker, very dark. Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't do too much in here. I'm going to go in here and just rebuild that a little bit more. We're pressing the X key to go to black, if you saw that. And I'm going to go back into the actual kind of eye and just undo part of it that I've done so that it doesn't go over what I don't want to put to screen. And go like that over here and go like this. Okay, it looks not too bad. And it usually, like, I take my time, a lot of time to do this. So zoom out, and obviously, like, ooh, we got a ghost. So I'm reduce that to 50% right now. And I think 40% was working really well. So sometimes you'll have to do two layers. Sometimes you can get away with one layer. Sometimes you need to have two because depending they don't match too much. So I'm going to go back and forth and just look at that. It's like, yeah, that's not too bad. So this is the quickest way to actually make the eyes, the white of the eyes really white and the actual teeth really white. Well, brighter or whiter, I would say. And then again, I'll repeat that, is that if I'm going to just put that onto my Facebook account or to Google Plus, it'll be into the digital world. I don't need too much to do a lot of stuff. What I mean by that is that you'll see, like, maybe we'll have time to go into the face touch-up and use the actual textures of the eyes and reintroduce the texture of the eyes, because if you hide this part over here and you just look at the actual, sorry, go this here. So therefore you see like there is no textures on these things. Like it's just like painting white. That's what it does, okay? So over here, like you can actually introduce some kind of textures to make it look more realistically. So we're not going to do that right now. So at least you get a picture that to say like, yeah, this is the before and this is the after. Not too much difference that you can look, but it just makes way better. And obviously, like I would go in and do some other stuff. But therefore, this is really quickly how to do whitening the teeth and brightening the eyes. And there's more to the eyes than that. We'll look at that later on.